So last week on the channel, we ranked every boss in Terraria based on difficulty, and the responses to that video was kind of incredible. Some people agreed, some people really disagreed. So I'm back this week, and today we are ranking every NPC in Terraria based on how much I like them. Get ready for the most biased NPC video you have ever seen. So we begin with one of the most controversial NPCs in Terraria, the Angler. Now, here's the thing. I know that most of you watching this video would instantly put him in the F tier, and I'm going to do the same. I don't like the Angler. The Angler is the amalgamation of everything I don't like in Terraria, which is RNG. You fish, and the fish is RNG. You submit a quest, and the item you get is RNG. So if you want to use this NPC to get something you really want, it's a nightmare. I genuinely don't like him. Fishing is kind of a fun little mechanic, but the Angler just ain't. Alright? Instant F. I'm sorry. He's pretty bad. Arms Dealer. Okay, now this is an interesting one, because I only really use the Arms Dealer for one thing, and that's buying bullets. So in a way, he's a very essential NPC for me, and I do feel like being essential does make you more likable to me. So I'm going to put the Arms Dealer at B, because it's not A, but it's essential. Like, if the Arms Dealer disappeared, I would be pretty gutted, but I wouldn't go, yeah, you know, he's my favorite. I'm going to make him my YouTube avatar for 10 years. Oh, wow. So they've added pets, which is quite cool. So, dogs. What do I think of dogs in Terraria? I think they're cute. I like that you can pet them. I like that you can get Sven the dog, a little PewDiePie reference. So for you, Felix, I bang this one in the S tier, alright? Will it stay the number one NPC? We'll find out. Zoologist. Okay, this is an interesting one. The community's relationship with the Zoologist is a little bit strange. I'm not into any of that, but I do really like the Zoologist. I feel like she sells some of my favorite items. I like the whip that she sells. Yep. I like the mounts that she sells. I like the world globes and the tree globes that she sells. I just feel like she's a fun NPC. I love that it relates to the bestiary as well. I like the Zoologist. Alright, I'm going to bang the Zoologist in A. Should I phrase that differently? Never mind. We move on. So, the guinea pig. I don't really like guinea pigs. I don't know why. I've never had, you know, a big love for them. And I don't really like them in Terraria either, because I think they look a little bit fat. I know it's strange, but the sprite just looks a little bit weird to me. Does anybody else feel like that? Am I just mad? So, guinea pig is D. It's not as bad as the Angler, but I just don't care about it. So, the Clothier. Here's the thing. I have my own Clothier-related official Terraria merchandise. I have my own name in the game, James the Clothier. If I put this anywhere else other than S, your whole life would be a lie, right? I feel like a lot of people would just flat out leave the channel, and I agree. I genuinely love the Clothier. I think he's great. I love that all of his lines are a reference to Tom Hanks for no reason. I don't get that, but I like Tom Hanks. I like that he sells you the Clothier outfit, because I really like the look. I like his red hat. I like his name choices. I like so much about him. I like the graduation outfit that they added in 1.4. I love that. I just love him. I think he's great. I know, I genuinely do. I genuinely, it's just good. Fun little fact for those that don't know, I actually had the Clothier as my avatar on YouTube before he was added to the game, because I found him in the game files. He was like ready for a next patch or whatever. And that's when I started to grow to like him, before I'd even seen him. Okay, Cyborg. I cannot tell you anything about the Cyborg. I'm sorry. I don't play Ranger enough to appreciate whatever it is that he sells. The Cyborg is so bottom of the barrel for me. If they removed him from Terraria, I think I could go years without noticing. I just don't care about him. I don't care about his dialogue. I don't care about his sprite. I don't know. He's rubbish. I don't know why I hate him that much, but I actually hate him more than the Angler, because at least the Angler is useful. The Cyborg, to me, is not useful. So, Demolitionist. I have a soft spot for the Demolitionist. I just kind of like him. I think he's funny. I like buying bombs. I mean, I buy bombs every single Let's Play. I'm always buying bombs. I'm always buying dynamite. He's not too hard to get. He's a unique looking NPC because he's on the shorter side. I think genuinely, he's great. I don't know why. He's also an OG, and being an OG is kind of important to me in a way. So I would slap him in A. He's not S. No. But he is better than the Zoologist for me. So, Dryad. I love the Dryad. The community really loves the Dryad. I don't love her for that, right? But I like that she sells seeds, which is great. I love planter boxes. I like her design. I do think her design is really good. I think she's very iconic. She's a good presence. I like Dryad's Blessing. For those that don't know what that is, it's a little orb around the Dryad that gives you 8 defense. So she's actually really useful. She is S tier because she's an icon in Terraria. Does anybody else agree with that? So, Dye Trader. Now, my relationship with the Dye Trader has actually changed a little bit. I think in 1.3, I like the Dye Trader more because I would sell strange plants. But now that they've nerfed that and moved that to hard mode, I feel like I never use the Dye Trader. I'm not somebody, as you all know, who dyes their Terraria character. I just like to go with the Clothier look, and that's all it is for me. So for me, he's pretty useless, and I don't think his dialogue is anything special. I would put him so middle of the road because I don't dislike him, but I don't love him. Now the Goblin. Here's the thing. The Goblin is essential for me in Terraria. One of the most useful. I like rocket boots. I like being able to buy a grappling hook if I didn't get the gems. I like reforging items. But he does have that RNG aspect, and that RNG aspect lowered the angler down to the very bottom of this list. Or very close to it. But with all the hate, I still quite like the Goblin Tinkerer. I do. I don't know what it is. I would put the Goblin Man top of A. I don't like him as much as the Dryad, but I think he's great. I don't know. He's cheeky, right? He's the butt of every Terraria joke, the man of memes, and I think for that, he's an icon. Being an icon is quite important, apparently. So, the Golfer. Tiger Woods himself. I don't like the Golfer for one reason, and that is the way he spawns. I think he's annoying to get. Like, he spawns in the underground desert, and have you ever been there? It's a nightmare. It is a nightmare. If you didn't get him in pre-hard mode, trying to get him in hard mode is just the worst. I don't play golf enough in Terraria. I'm sorry. I feel like he's C. I feel like he's better than the Dye Trader, but he's not useful to me. But I like his like lore. I like these like siblings with the Zoologist. It's great to see a new face, but I think once that kind of dies down, I don't know. Okay, the guide. What do we think about the guide? Now, this is where the Terraria community gets pretty split actually, because I don't like the guide, but I get a lot of comments that are like, oh, I love the guide. The guide's like my best friend. I use him all the time. You haven't played enough Terraria, all right? Back off. If you're still using the guide, get out of here. For real, though, he is actually pretty good. And he is an icon. He's one of the most iconic. I feel like the guide is middle of the road. Yeah. Yeah, I feel good about that. He's better than a guinea pig. Barely. But he is an icon. So, engineer, mechanic. I legitimately can't remember what she's called. Is she the mechanic? Is she the engineer? I don't know. She is an interesting NPC because if you're into wiring, she's fantastic. Very useful. I like that her weapon that she drops, the wrench, is really good. And I like that she's like a little beacon of hope in the dungeon. But I wouldn't exactly say I love her, you know? I wouldn't say that I love this NPC. But I don't dislike her. She is like so middle of the road that I would put her in B. Alright, so the Merchant. What do we think about the Merchant? Well, I think he is an icon in Terraria. If you play the game, he is the first NPC you'll see that isn't the guide. And he sells some good stuff. He teaches the player about money. You can buy shuriken from him. You can buy glow sticks. You can buy a piggy bank. I think the Merchant is all around pretty great. I like his design. I like when he shows up. I think the merchant is pretty good, right? If I lost the merchant, I would genuinely be devastated. I'll be honest. So I'm going to put him in A, and I'll put him above the Demolitionist. I feel like that's a good spot. I do find the Goblin more useful, and I like the Dryad more, but he's very good. So the Nurse. Okay. I don't really know how I feel about the Nurse, because I don't really heal that much in Terraria, or at least I don't think I do. I don't use the Nurse to cheese boss fights, and do you know what, actually? I'm going to bump the Nurse up because she's useful for the pylon. Kind of like the Arms Dealer. The Arms Dealer is really useful for a pylon, so I will put her next to the Arms Dealer because I just made his day, alright? I just made his day. The Old Man guarding the dungeon. I don't count this as an NPC. It's whatever. I'm gonna, I don't know, like, I know this is weird, but I'm gonna put it at the very bottom because I don't really like its spawn rate. Does that make sense? I don't count it as an NPC. It just, for me, it isn't. It's the Old Man, right? It's the Clothier before he got good. The Painter. Now, the Painter kind of goes into the same category as the Dye Trader for me. I recognize that the Painter is a very useful NPC, and if you like to paint, he's great. But I don't like to paint. I don't care about painting in Terraria. I'm not a master builder. I build wooden box homes. So I will have to put him here with the Guide and the Dye Trader to keep it fair. So the Pirate Captain. I don't think I've ever bought a single item from the Pirate Captain. He is one of the most useless filler NPCs in Terraria, and I simply don't care about him. I'm sorry. I like him more than the Cyborg purely for aesthetics alone, but he is so useless. What do you buy from him? Is it cannons? Who's playing Terraria with cannons? Nobody. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. I know. Pirate's crap. He's not for me. So, the Princess. Now, this is an interesting one, because I feel like the only reason I would get a Princess in Terraria is to murder her and take her weapon, which is really good. The Princess is the final NPC that will move in. So, in a way, she's kind of unlikable for that, because you need to do a lot of work to get her. I can't really remember much that she sells. I know she sells some, like, Mario-related items, and that's kind of cool. And it is good to see a new face in Terraria. But I almost feel like she is so forgettable. I like her less than the Guide. So, Santa Claus. What do we think about that? The thing about Santa is that Santa isn't really a permanent resident in the world. So, in a way, I don't think I've ever really got attached to him. But he does sell some good stuff. He sells the Christmas trees, the Christmas toppers, the baubles, the fairy lights, and he does spread some festive cheer. He does die a little bit weirdly though, right? you come in after Christmas and he's dead on the floor. I feel like Santa is a good NPC, but I would put him here. I would put him above the Golfer, because I do like seeing him, but he isn't in this core group of useful NPCs that you're going to be interacting with quite a bit. So the cat. Now, the cat for me is instant S tier. I love cats. I love cats a little bit more than dogs, truthfully. I don't love cats more than the Clothier, though. I'll be honest. So, Skeleton Merchant. That's an interesting NPC. Obviously not one that lives with you. I feel like when I'm in a yo-yo mood, the Skeleton Merchant is great because he sells the stuff for the yo-yo bag. But then, other than that, I don't really find myself, like, seeking him out to actually buy anything. He's more like, oh, the Skeleton Merchant's there. Kind of like the Traveling Merchant in a way. But I feel like its loot pool is not as good. So I'm going to put this really middle of the road again. I would put it below the Golfer. I think I'd be more excited about the Golfer than I would be the Skeleton Merchant. I like that his name is a reference to Nightmare Before Christmas. That aspect is very cool. But he's not that useful. So, Steampunker. Steampunker is one of my favorite NPCs, purely for aesthetics. I feel like she's great. I'm always buying the Contaminator. I'm always buying Solution. I really like Conveyor Belts. She's great. I just feel like she's an icon in Terraria as well. So I'm going to put her here. Yeah, I'm going to put her there because her usefulness isn't as useful as these, but I like her design more than these two. Does that make sense? So the Tavernkeeper. I really like the Tavernkeeper. Here's the thing. Whether you're doing the Old Ones army or not, I feel like the Tavernkeeper just looks good in any Terraria world. I think he's pretty funny. I like his Easter egg by holding out a pint. You know, we can all relate to that on some level. The Tavernkeeper's great. Now, I genuinely just love the Tavernkeep, and I hope in a way that we get a new NPC to go with the Don't Starve crossover. I think that would be awesome, because we got the Tavernkeeper, and I think he's iconic. I think the Tavernkeeper is here for me. I know I'm shifting a lot around in the B tier, but I really like him. Tax Collector. See, I like the sprite for the Tax Collector, and I like the idea of free money, but I just never get him. I just never get him. I don't know why, but I just feel no motivation to ever get him. Like, I can't think of the last time I actually got him that wasn't just to get the princess instead. So for that, Mr. Tax Collector, I'm going to bump you down to the F tier, but I'm going to put you ahead of the Angler so that it's nice. The Traveling Merchant. The Traveling Merchant sells a lot of good stuff, and I get excited about the Traveling Merchant actually spawning in. The Traveling Merchant sells things like yo-yos or DPS meters. So for that, he's a great NPC. He is. I like his pulse bow. I like his attire. I feel like he could be like a sibling or a cousin of the Clothier. Surprised they haven't worked that in a way. I'm going to put the Traveling Merchant here. I know I keep putting things here, but I feel like these are my core NPCs, and I'm kind of rearranging around that. So the Truffle NPC, I don't really care about the Truffle NPC. I do like his design, which is quite cool. I think he's a faff to get, though. Creating an artificial mushroom biome is just kind of annoying. You only really get the Truffle NPC if you want to get Shroomite, and I don't usually want to get Shroomite. And I feel like he spawns in pretty late in the game. I feel like by the time you're actually making him, you're done with Terraria. So I think for that, I'm going to put him in D, because he isn't... No, actually. Yeah, no, I am going to put him in D, because I don't hate him, but I just never really want to get him. So, final two, which is great, because I'm kind of losing my voice filming this, but I've got a lot to say about NPCs. I didn't even realize. So, Witch Doctor. Witch Doctor, to me, is a very iconic Terraria NPC. I feel like he fits in well with the 1.2 era. I think he's great recently because you can use him to get Tiki armor. You can get the Pygmy staff. He's really good. I really like his design actually as well, and I feel like that plays a big factor with how much I like this NPC. So I'm going to put him here. No. Can I just keep placing NPCs here? I think I can. I like him more than the Arms Dealer. Yeah, time for the Arms Dealer to move. The Arms Dealer is only good for bullets, whereas the Witch Doctor just looks great. He does look really good. I don't know. Maybe I'll change that in the future. So, Wizard. I really like the design of the Wizard. He's very Clothier-like. He sells some good items if you're a mage. The harp is great. The magic orb is great. But I feel like he's not as useful as I would maybe want him to be. So I'm going to put him around here, because I like seeing the Tavernkeeper just a little bit more. Right, so do you agree with my list? Let me know down below. Thanks for watching, everyone, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.